Okay, let's talk about how to move the focus box around on the two different types of cameras. There's a couple things that both cameras have in common. The first one is that this directional pad right here, this thing on the back of the camera, it's in the exact same spot on the D3200, is how we move the focus box. So when it comes time to move the focus box, this is what we use to do it. The other thing that's important is our autofocus mode. It doesn't matter if we're in AFC or AFS on either camera, but it does matter that we're in single point autofocus mode. Meaning that's our way of telling the camera that we will choose which focus box we want to use, and we don't want the camera to choose it for us. So make sure you're in single point. If you're not in single point, then you won't be able to move the focus box around. Okay, now let's take a look at how to change the focus box or move the focus box around on the Nikon D7000. The first thing and most important thing is you got to make sure that this switch right here is set to this little white dot. If we switch that to L, basically that locks the directional pad, basically turns it off. So make sure that is on the white dot, and then we are good to go. The most important thing to remember about changing the focus box is that we can only do it if the camera is awake. And we wake up the camera by just tapping the shutter release. You don't have to hold it down, you just tap it, and you know the camera's awake if you see those numbers right there. If you do, camera's awake and ready to go. Let's take a look through the camera and see what moving the focus box looks like. Alright, so here we are looking through the D7000 viewfinder. See that black box right in the middle? That's our focus box. And to move that, like I said, we just make sure the camera's awake by tapping the shutter release. Then we just press left or right or up or down on the D-pad, and we can move that focus box to wherever we want it to be. It's actually pretty simple. Just the key thing to remember is make sure the camera's awake. If the camera's gone back to sleep, you won't be able to move the focus box around. So that's it. That's moving the focus box on the Nikon D7000. The Nikon D3200 is just about the same as the Nikon D7000. The only difference is there's no lock switch. The directional pad is pretty much always turned on. There's no lock switch right here, which means we can always move the focus box. We don't really even have to worry about unlocking the D-pad. We still got to make sure the camera's awake by tapping and releasing the shutter release. Other than that, it's about the same. Let's take a look at how it looks. Okay, so here we are looking through the viewfinder of the Nikon D3200. I'm going to tap the shutter release to wake up the camera, and I'm going to start moving. And this one doesn't have a focus box. It has a focus dot. See that red light blinking as it goes back and forth in the middle? Well, we can move that red light to any of the boxes that are here on the screen. It looks like there's 11 of them. And whichever of these 11 the red light is in, that is our active focus box. So we can move this around, get it to where we want it, and then we are good to go.